Have you ever stopped to think about what really happens when a soldier returns home after war? Michael was only 23 years old when his feet touched American soil again. 3 years had passed since he boarded that military plane bound for Iraq, his eyes filled with determination and his heart heavy with farewell. But the man who stepped off that plane on that cloudy October afternoon was not the same boy who had left. The airport was packed. The deafening noise of people dragging suitcases, children crying, announcements blaring from the loudspeakers. Everything seemed amplified, aggressive, almost unbearable to Michael. He gripped the strap of his military backpack so tightly, his fingers turned white. His eyes scanned every corner, every sudden movement, every person who passed too close. Stay with me until the end of this story, because what you're about to discover may completely change how you see those who serve their country. His mother was the first to see him. She ran towards him with open arms, tears streaming down her face, shouting his name as if she couldn't believe he was really there. The hug was strong, desperate, full of 3 years of accumulated longing. But Michael could barely reciprocate. His arms were tense, almost paralyzed. He smelled his mother's familiar scent, the same one that used to calm him as a child, but now it caused a strange feeling of disconnection, as if that memory belonged to someone else, to another Michael. His father held his hand firmly, pride etched on his face. His younger sister, now 15 and so grown up he barely recognized her, tried to crack jokes to break the ice. But Michael only smiled, a mechanical, empty smile that didn't reach his eyes. Have you ever experienced that? Ever felt physically present, but your mind was trapped somewhere else, in another time? The drive to his family's home in Greenville, South Carolina, was marked by a heavy, uncomfortable silence. His mother tried to make conversation, asking simple questions about the food, the trip, and plans for the coming days. Michael responded with monosyllables. Yes, no, maybe. Each word seemed to require a monumental effort. Meanwhile, through the car window, he observed the quiet city streets, the houses with their well-kept gardens, people walking their dogs, children playing on the sidewalk. Everything seemed unreal, almost cinematic, a parallel reality he could no longer fully inhabit. When they arrived home, the family had prepared a surprise party, neighbors, childhood friends, uncles and cousins, all there to celebrate his return. But for Michael, that crowd of smiling faces and excited voices was suffocating. Each hug felt like an invasion. Each question about the war triggered images he struggled to keep buried deep inside. How was it there? You're a hero. You must be so happy to be back. The words echoed in his head, mingling with other sounds. Distant explosions, shouts in Arabic, the deadly silence that followed an attack. That night, when everyone had finally left and the house fell silent, Michael lay in the same childhood bed, staring at the ceiling he knew so well. But sleep wouldn't come. And when his eyes finally closed in exhaustion, the images returned, vivid, violent, inescapable. What you are about to discover may surprise you, because the truth about returning home is something few truly understand. The war had ended on paper, signed by generals and politicians in air-conditioned offices. But in Michael's mind, the gunshots still echoed every night. And what happened to him in the following months would reveal a brutal truth that thousands of American families know well, but that society prefers not to see. Before we continue, I need to ask you something. If this story is touching you in any way, if you know someone who has gone through this, or if you simply believe that more people need to understand what really happens when our soldiers return home, leave a comment below about what has touched you the most so far. It can be a word, a memory, a reflection, whatever comes to your heart. You know why? Because every comment you leave here isn't just a number to me. It's proof that stories like Michael's matter. It's what makes the YouTube algorithm understand that this content needs to reach more screens, more hearts, more people who may be living this reality right now and feeling completely alone. And if you really want to follow true stories of transformation that go far beyond superficial entertainment, leave a like and subscribe to the channel, because your participation here is what makes this space grow and reach more people with this type of content that can literally save lives. It's not an exaggeration. When you share, when you like, when you comment, you are saying, this story deserves to be heard. And believe me, it really does. Now let's continue, because what happened to Michael in the following weeks is something no one was prepared to face. In the first few days, his family tried to maintain normalcy. His mother prepared his favorite childhood meals, that chocolate cake with buttercream frosting that he used to devour whole when he was a teenager. His father invited him to watch American football games on TV, as they did every Sunday before his enlistment. His sister tried to show him Instagram photos, talking about boys from school, about plans for college, about trivial things that seemed to belong to a completely different universe from the one Michael had just left. But something was wrong, deeply wrong. And everyone felt it, even if no one dared to say it out loud. But something was wrong, deeply wrong. And everyone felt it, even if no one dared to say it out loud. Michael would wake up in the middle of the night drenched in sweat, shouting words his family couldn't understand. He would jump out of bed in a defensive position, his eyes wide, searching for enemies that weren't there. His mother would rush into the room, turn on the light, try to calm him down. But Michael would push her so hard that she fell to the floor one night. He didn't even realize it. He was somewhere else, in another time, fighting for his life against invisible threats that only he could see. During the day, things weren't much better. A car making noise in the street would make Michael instinctively throw himself to the ground. The sound of fireworks at a neighborhood birthday party would leave him paralyzed, trembling, with his hands over his ears. A door slamming shut in the wind sounded like a gunshot, and Michael would run for cover, his heart pounding so hard it felt like it was going to explode in his chest. And here's the part nobody tells you about returning home. There's a statistic that should shock us all, but it remains hidden, silenced, as if talking about it would be disrespectful to those who served. More than 7,000 American veterans take their own lives every year. Let me repeat that in a way you really understand the weight of it. That's more than 20 veterans a day. 20. That means that while you're watching this video right now, somewhere in the United States, a soldier who survived the war is making the decision not to continue fighting the invisible enemy they brought home. More American soldiers died after returning home than on the battlefields of Iraq and Afghanistan themselves. Think about that for a moment. The hidden truth is that many survive the explosions, the shootings, the attacks, only to lose the final battle within their own minds, within their own homes, surrounded by the people they love most. What Michael was facing has a name: post-traumatic stress disorder. But let's take all the technical and complicated language out of it. Let's talk in a way that makes real sense. Imagine your brain is like an alarm system. In a normal situation, this alarm sounds when there is real danger. A car coming towards you, a fire, a genuine threat. When the danger passes, the alarm turns off and you return to normal. But for someone with PTSD, this alarm never turns off. It keeps ringing non-stop, screaming danger, 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 even when you are absolutely safe. It's not weakness. It's not a lack of mental strength. It's not fussiness or drama. It's an invisible wound, as real, as deep, and as painful as any bomb fragment lodged in the skin. The difference is that nobody sees it. There's no bandage, no visible scar, no X-ray to show it. But it's there, bleeding inside every day. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject because understanding what goes on in the mind of a veteran with PTSD is key to understanding why so many of them can no longer live the life they once did. Let's enter the invisible hell, that place where the enemy isn't on the other side of the border. It's inside your own head. Michael was trying to go to the supermarket with his mother. Sounds simple, right? An everyday task that anyone does without a second thought. But for him, that crowded aisle was a minefield. Every person who passed too close was a potential threat. Every bag left on the floor could be an explosive. Every sudden movement of someone grabbing a product from the shelf sent his whole body into combat mode. He sweated, his heart raced, his hands trembled. In 15 minutes, he had to run out, leaving his mother confused and embarrassed in the middle of her shopping. Imagine living in a state of constant alert, where your brain convinces you that danger lurks around every corner, even in the safety of your own home. You can't relax. You can't let your guard down. You can't simply exist without every cell in your body being prepared to fight or flee. It's exhausting, it's torturous, it's like running a marathon without a finish line, every single day without rest. Michael's nightmares were so violent that he broke his girlfriend's nose one night, accidentally hitting her while fighting imaginary enemies in his sleep. She forgave him that time, and the second time. But after the third time, she packed her bags and left, leaving a note that simply said, "I love you, but I can't live in fear of you anymore." And perhaps the cruelest part of PTSD is this: the inability to feel joy or connection with loved ones. It's as if a thick glass wall has been erected between the veteran and the rest of the world. He sees people laughing, celebrating, living, but he can't reach them. He can't feel what they feel. It's like watching life happen from the outside, disconnected, emotionally numb. There's a story that deeply affected me. A veteran named David, who served in Afghanistan for 4 years, told me that he returned home to meet his newborn daughter. He had missed the birth because he was on duty. When he finally held the baby in his arms, everyone around him was crying with emotion. His wife, his mother, his mother-in-law, all with tears of happiness. But David felt nothing. Absolutely nothing. He looked at that perfect little face and waited for the love, the connection, the emotion to come. But they didn't, and that destroyed him inside more than any bomb could have. He spent years unable to hug his own daughter without feeling panicked, unable to be present at her birthday parties because there were too many people, too much noise, too much stimulation, unable to be the father he always dreamed of being. And the guilt, the shame, the feeling of failure as a father and as a man, this added to the trauma, creating a downward spiral that seemed endless. Michael was spiraling down that same path, and when that happens, when life becomes too heavy to bear, when each day is a battle you no longer have the strength to fight, things start to fall apart, quickly. First, there was the job. Michael had landed a position at a construction company through a veterans relocation program. It seemed perfect. Manual labor, outdoors, a small crew. But in the second week, there was an accident on the construction site. A beam fell with a deafening crash. Michael panicked completely. He ran, hid behind a truck, shouting military orders in Arabic, completely lost in a flashback. When he came back to reality, there were 8 workers looking at him with fear and confusion. 2 days later, he was politely dismissed. "We understand your situation, Michael, but we can't risk the safety of the team." Unemployed, Michael began to drink. At first, only at night to be able to sleep. 1 beer, then 2, then half a bottle of whiskey. It was the only thing that silenced the screams inside his head, that erased the images that kept playing like a macabre film on an endless loop. His family tried to intervene. His father hid the bottles. His mother begged him to seek help. But Michael pushed everyone away, locked himself in his room, and plunged deeper into drinking. And here's something that needs to be said very clearly. For many veterans, alcohol and drugs become the only way they can survive another day. It's not a conscious choice of, "I'm going to get addicted." It's a desperate act of self-medication. It's the brain screaming for relief, for silence, for anything that will make the pain stop, even if only for a few hours. Let me tell you about James, a veteran from Denver, Colorado. James was a sergeant, decorated, respected, a natural leader. He returned from the war, and in less than 2 years, he was living under a bridge with a bottle of cheap vodka as his only company. How does that happen? How does someone go from national hero to homeless so quickly? James's journey was eerily similar to that of thousands of others. First, drinking to fall asleep. Then, losing his job because he could no longer cope with crowds, loud noises, and the pressure of having to function like a normal person. Then divorce because his wife could no longer bear to see the man she loved destroying himself and not being able to do anything to save him. Then, losing his home because without a job, without support, without structure, the bills simply stopped being paid. And finally, the streets, rock bottom, the place where many veterans end up, invisible to the same society that once called them heroes. Michael was going down the same path. His girlfriend had already left. His job was lost. His family was exhausted and didn't know what to do anymore. And the drinking was becoming a bigger problem. He started using painkillers he secretly took from his mother's medicine cabinet. Then, he got a fake prescription for OxyContin from someone he knew. And when that wasn't enough, when the pain was too much, he thought about more extreme things. There was a gun in the house. His father's gun, kept in a box in the master bedroom closet. Michael knew exactly where it was. And on the darkest nights, when the nightmares were worst, when loneliness tightened around his chest like a vice, when he saw no reason to keep fighting, he thought about that gun. He thought about how easy it would be. Quick, final. One night, 6 months after returning home, Michael made the decision. He waited until everyone was asleep. He took the gun. He locked himself in the bathroom. He sat on the cold tile floor, and for the first time in months, he felt something resembling peace. Because he knew that in a few minutes, all of this, the pain, the nightmares, the guilt, the shame, the emptiness, it would all be over. He gripped the weapon with both hands. They were trembling. Tears streamed down his face. He murmured apologies to his mother, his father, his sister. He said he was sorry for not being strong enough, for not being able to be the son, the brother, the soldier that everyone expected him to be. That night, with the gun in his hand, Michael heard a knock on the bathroom door. His sister. Her voice was soft but firm. "Michael, I know you're in there. I know what you're thinking of doing, and I won't let you. Open this door, please. Open this door and come talk to me." Michael froze. How did she know? How had she heard? He had been so silent. Her voice continued, "I hear you crying every night. I see you drifting away from all of us. And I won't let you give up. You survived a war on the other side of the world. You won't die in this bathroom, not while I'm breathing." Something in those words broke through the wall Michael had built around his heart. Perhaps it was the unconditional love he heard in his sister's voice. Perhaps it was the exhaustion of carrying everything alone for so long. Perhaps it was just the last thread of hope that still existed in some dark corner of his soul. He put the gun down. He unlocked the door. And he collapsed into his 15-year-old sister's arms, crying like he hadn't cried since he was a child. That was the turning point, the moment when everything could have ended. But it didn't. And the truth is, these turning points happen in different ways for different people. Sometimes it's an unexpected connection with an old friend. Sometimes it's a child's gaze. Sometimes it's another veteran who went through the same thing and reaches out. Sometimes it's simply the refusal of someone who loves you to let you go. But here's the secret that few talk about. That turning point, that moment when life is chosen over death, is only the beginning. Because then comes the hardest part. The part that demands more courage than any battlefield. The part that separates those who survive from those who truly transform. Michael had to make a decision that went against everything he had learned as a soldier. He had to admit that he needed help. For someone trained to be strong, to be self-sufficient, to never show weakness, asking for help seems almost impossible. It's like admitting defeat. It's like accepting that you failed. But here's the life-saving mindset shift. Asking for help isn't weakness. Acknowledging that you can't do it alone isn't failure. It's the bravest thing a human being can do. It's looking at your own vulnerability and saying, I need you, I can't do it alone, and that's okay. That same night, Michael's sister took him to a psychiatric emergency room. He spent 3 days there under observation. And it was there, in that white, sterile room, talking to a psychologist who was also a veteran, that Michael heard for the first time that what he was feeling had a name, that thousands of other soldiers were feeling the same thing, that there was treatment, that there was hope. When he left the hospital, Michael was referred to a veteran support group. He almost didn't go to the first meeting. He sat in his car for 20 minutes outside the building, debating whether to go in or leave. What finally made him go in was seeing another veteran, an older man, perhaps 60 years old, walking towards the entrance with an expression that Michael immediately recognized. The expression of someone who had known hell and come back from it. In that room, sitting in a circle with 12 other veterans, Michael listened to stories that seemed to mirror his own life. Men and women of different ages, who had served in different wars, all sharing the same nightmares, the same fears, the same feeling of no longer belonging to the world they left behind. And for the first time since he returned, Michael didn't feel alone. He didn't feel like a stranger. He didn't feel like a failure. He felt seen, understood, accepted exactly as he was, hurt, broken, struggling, but still there, still breathing, still trying. The group facilitator, a Vietnam veteran named Marcus, said something Michael would never forget. You have faced armed enemies on the other side of the world. But asking for help, sitting in this chair, looking at your own demons and deciding to fight them, that is the hardest and most important battle of your lives. Michael began individual therapy twice a week. He learned about a technique called EMDR, which seemed strange at first, following a light with his eyes while revisiting traumatic memories, but which somehow, inexplicably, began to lessen the intensity of the images that haunted him. He started exposure therapy, gradually confronting the situations that made him panic, first being in a supermarket for 5 minutes, then 10, then doing a complete shopping trip. They were small steps, tiny victories that would seem trivial to anyone else, but were monumental to Michael. The first night he slept 5 hours straight without nightmares. The first day he was able to watch a football game on TV with his father without having to leave the room. The first time he heard fireworks, and although his body tensed, he managed to take a deep breath and remind himself, I'm home. I'm safe. This isn't real. The journey of rebuilding wasn't linear. There were days when Michael regressed. There were nights when alcohol seemed like the only way out again. There were moments when he wanted to give up on everything, but now he had something he didn't have before, a support network. People who understood, people who cared, people who wouldn't let him fall without offering a hand. He learned about a program that connected veterans with emotional support dogs. Michael was paired with a black Labrador named Duke. Duke was trained to detect signs of anxiety and panic in Michael and intervene, placing his head in his lap, pressing his body against his legs, forcing him out of the flashback and back to the present. Having Duke by his side changed Michael's life in ways he never imagined. For the first time in years, he could leave the house without feeling like he was going to die of fear. Comment below, real transformation. Because what you're about to see will show you that true change is not only possible, it's happening right now with thousands of veterans across the country. Michael is 31 years old today. He runs a veterans support center in Portland, Oregon. Over the past 4 years, he has helped more than 200 soldiers find a new purpose, reconnect with their families, and choose life over death. The man who couldn't look his sister in the eye, who trembled at the sound of a door slamming, who held a gun intending to end it all. That same man now teaches other veteran parents to embrace their children again, to forgive themselves, to believe that recovery is not only possible, but within their reach. The war inside Michael hasn't completely disappeared. He still has difficult days. He still has nights when Duke has to wake him from a nightmare. He still carries scars that no one sees. But he's learned to live with them. He's learned that having PTSD doesn't mean being broken forever. It means being wounded, and wounds can heal. There's a phrase that Michael repeats to every veteran who arrives at his center with empty, hopeless eyes, thinking there's no way out. You're not weak for suffering, you're human, and if you survived what you survived and are still here, breathing, then you're stronger than you think. We just need to remind you of that until you believe again. And you know what moves me most about this whole story? It's that it's not unique. Michael is not an exception. There are thousands of veterans across the country who are winning this invisible battle, who are transforming from survivors into living examples that recovery is real. James, that Denver sergeant who lived under the bridge, now works for an NGO that distributes survival kits to homeless people, many of them veterans like he once was. David, the father who couldn't feel anything holding his newborn daughter, now takes the same daughter, who is now 8 years old, camping every month, rebuilding the connection he thought he had lost forever. These transformations happen because people decided not to give up, because families refused to leave their soldiers to fight alone, because veterans reached out to each other and said, "I've been through this, I understand, and you're not alone." But these transformations are also happening because society is beginning to understand that a simple "thank you for your service," said sincerely, can mean the world to someone who is feeling invisible. Because companies are opening positions for veterans, giving them not just a job, but a purpose, a routine, a place to belong. Because people are donating to organizations that offer real support, accessible therapy, service dogs, and reintegration programs. And here's what these warriors want you to know. They are not broken, they are wounded, and there is a huge difference between those two things. Broken means beyond repair. Wounded means it can heal. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes support, but it can heal. Veterans with PTSD are not crazy, they are not dangerous, they are not lost causes. They are people who have seen and lived through things that most of us will never have to face, and who are carrying the weight of it as best they can. They deserve understanding, not judgment. They deserve support, not stigma. They deserve the chance to rebuild their lives, one day at a time. For the government, the war ended years ago. The papers were signed, the troops returned home, the flags were raised. But for Michael, for James, for David, for the thousands of veterans who are still fighting the invisible enemy they brought home, the real victory is happening now. One life reclaimed at a time, one less nightmare at a time, one genuine embrace at a time. And if you've made it this far with me, if this story has touched you in some way, I want to ask you something. If you know a veteran, don't just ask, "How was the war?" Ask, "How are you doing today?" Offer your presence, your listening ear, your time. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for someone who is struggling is simply to be there, without judgment, without magical solutions, just there. And if you're a veteran watching this right now, I want you to know that you're not alone. There are thousands of brothers and sisters in arms who understand exactly what you're feeling. who have been through the same hell and come out the other side, who are waiting to reach out to you. Asking for help is not weakness, it's courage. It's the bravest decision you can make. If this video resonated with you, if you've stayed with me this far and felt this message needed to be shared, please leave a like. This helps more people find this content, and maybe, just maybe, someone who needs to hear exactly this will stumble upon this video at the right time. And subscribe to the channel here, because every week I bring you real stories of transformation, of overcoming adversity, of people who hit rock bottom and chose to rise again. It's not superficial content. It's about real life, real pain, real victory. It's about remembering that no battle is lost while you're still breathing. Write in the comments, "I'm with you until the end." And I read every comment, and knowing that you've made it this far, that this story mattered to you, makes all the difference. And there's a video over here that talks about another incredible rebuilding journey, something that will complement everything we've discussed here. Click and continue with me there. See you in the next video.